Story 1. The car outside my house. It started with a faint hum. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, a distant engine idling somewhere beyond the trees. But then it didn't stop. It was past midnight, and my street, tucked deep into a quiet residential neighborhood, was usually silent. The kind of silence that almost hums in your ears. That night, I stood in my bedroom, window slightly cracked, just enough to let in the fall air. That's when I saw it. A car, parked across the street, engine on, headlights off. No movement inside. At first, I figured it was someone waiting for a friend. Maybe a neighbor's late-night guest or an Uber driver trying to stay warm. But then, an hour passed, then another, and the car didn't move. I tried to shake the unease creeping up my spine. I closed the blinds, turned off the lights, and forced myself into bed. But sleep didn't come easy. The next night, it returned. Same time, same spot, engine running. I watched from behind the curtain, heart pounding, trying to see inside. But the glare from the streetlight made it impossible. Just a dark silhouette behind the wheel, motionless. I finally called the non-emergency police line. They said they'd send a cruiser to check it out. 30 minutes later, the car was gone. The officer told me it was probably nothing, but from that night on, I stopped, sleeping with the window open. But the worst was yet to come. A few nights later, I stayed up late watching TV in the living room. Around 1 a.m., the soft rumble of that same engine reached my ears again. My stomach twisted. I tiptoed to the window. This time, the car wasn't across the street. It was in my driveway. No lights. Engine humming low like a beast waiting in the shadows. I froze. I didn't have a weapon. My phone was charging in the kitchen. Every instinct screamed at me to hide. I crawled to the hallway, snatched my phone, and called 911. As I whispered into the phone, there was a knock. Not at the door, at the window. I whipped around, and there, behind the thin curtains, was the faint outline of a face, pressed against the glass, watching me. The dispatcher told me to stay hidden. Officers were minutes away, but when they arrived, the car was gone. Again, no tire tracks, no footprints, nothing. Just a lingering sense that whoever was out there knew exactly where I lived, and they weren't finished yet. Story 2. The Uber ride, I was drunk. I'll admit that. It was my friend Jessica's birthday, and the bar we went to had this bottomless cocktail special. I don't remember much from the last hour of the night, just laughter, dancing, and trying to stay upright. Around 1:30 a.m., I ordered an Uber home. The app said it would be a silver Toyota Camry. When it pulled up, I barely glanced at the license plate. I just got in. The driver was a man in his 50s, bald, heavy-set. He didn't say a word when I got in. Normally, I'd chat with the driver, just small talk to break the silence. But something about him made my stomach knot. He drove slowly, too slowly. He kept glancing at me through the rearview mirror. Not in a curious way, in a hungry, calculating way. I tried to focus on my phone, but then I noticed we weren't taking the usual route. This isn't the way to my house, I mumbled, slurring slightly. He didn't answer. Hey, I said louder. This isn't the right way. You're going the wrong direction. Still nothing. That's when the fear sobered me up like ice water. I opened the app and froze. My trip wasn't active. I never started the ride. I wasn't in my Uber. I was in a stranger's car. Panic surged through me. My hands shook as I tried to quietly unlock my phone and call 911. But then the car slowed. He turned onto a dark, tree-lined road. No lights, no houses. I had seconds. I grabbed the door handle, yanked it, and threw myself out of the moving car. I hit the pavement hard, rolling, scraping my hands and knees. But I didn't stop. I ran like hell toward the main road. A pair of headlights approached, a real Uber driver, as it turned out. I waved frantically, sobbing, and collapsed into the arms of the driver who had actually come for me. I never saw the fake driver again. Police told me it was likely someone lurking around the bars, waiting for drunk women to mistake them for their rides. If I hadn't jumped out when I did, I don't even want to finish that sentence. Story 3. The dog park stalker. I used to take my dog, Lenny, to the park every afternoon. Same time, same trail, same routine. That's how I noticed the man. At first, he blended in, always seated on the same bench, pretending to read a book or scrolling through his phone. But then I realized he never brought a dog, not once, and he was always there, rain or shine. He started watching us more openly. I'd glance up from tossing the ball, and he'd be staring, no smile, no attempt to look away. One day I took a different trail, hoping to lose him, but halfway through the path, I heard footsteps behind me. I stopped. They stopped. I picked up the pace. So did he. I didn't dare look back. I just sprinted the last half mile, Lenny barking wildly beside me. I jumped into my car, locked the doors, and watched as the man casually emerged from the woods behind us. He just stood there, watching. I stopped going to that park, but he found me again, at the grocery store, at the gas station, always alone, always watching. I reported him. The police said unless he made a direct threat, there wasn't much they could do, so I moved, changed my routine. I even changed Lenny's walk times. I haven't seen the man since. But every time I pass a window, I check to make sure he's not standing there, because I know he's still out there, waiting. Story 4. The girl at the bus stop. I was 16, still in high school. Every morning, I took the same city bus to get to class. It was always early, around 6:45 a.m. There was a girl who started showing up at the stop about a month into the semester. She looked a little older, maybe college-aged. Thin, pale, long dark hair. Always wore the same black hoodie. At first I didn't think much of it, but then she started talking to me. Just small stuff. You take this bus every day. What school do you go to? Do your parents work mornings? Something about her questions felt pointed. One morning, she sat uncomfortably close. Our thighs touched. I tried scooting away, but she just followed. I had a dream about you, she whispered once. You were in my house. I laughed awkwardly. Weird dream. But she didn't smile. She just stared. Then, things got worse. I started seeing her outside of the bus stop, at the corner store near my house, sitting at a table in the library when I walked in, always watching, never approaching. I told my mum, who brushed it off as coincidence. But one night, I woke up and my bedroom window was open. I always locked it. I was certain I had. On the windowsill was a folded note. It read, "You looked peaceful while you slept." I screamed. My mom called the police. They never found her. But I switched to online classes after that, because some nightmares don't wait for sleep. They ride the same bus, they sit beside you, they learn your routine, and sometimes They find a way inside your room.